Okay, so today, can I avoid passing PCOS on to my daughter? I think that we need to kind of broaden that question a little bit and say, how do I avoid passing PCOS on to any of my children? PCOS isn't something that men get diagnosed with, but if um, a boy is born to a mom who has PCOS, he's more likely to pass it on to his children. So that's the topic we're going to cover today. There are 3 things that are, like, super actionable that you actually have control over, and you can decrease the chance of passing PCOS on to your offspring. So, the first is something that we're all working towards anyway with PCOS, and this is less exposure to androgens or male hormones. So, women with PCOS have more male hormones, just the way that it is. With these male hormones, it increases our risk of hair loss. It increases our risk of facial hair that would be more male patterned. It slows down ovulation. But high levels of androgens when you are pregnant increases the likelihood of your offspring having this. So listen to that again. High levels of androgens when you're pregnant increases the likelihood that your offspring is going to have PCOS. Okay. So if you have a little girl, what was going on within your body while baby girl was in your belly actually is going to impact her risk of PCOS. So whatever we can do pre-conception, whatever we can do while you're pregnant to lower androgens safely, these are ways that are gonna be kind of safe in combination with pregnancy. We wanna do that to hopefully have an impact on your baby's chance of getting PCOS. So lowering androgens, one of the best ways to do this is to balance your blood sugar. Your body makes more androgens when your body is exposed to high levels of insulin when you have PCOS. It's just okay. So if we can lower blood sugar, we lower insulin levels. Lower insulin levels trickles down to less testosterone. There are other things you can do to lower testosterone that are not safe in pregnancy, okay? So these are things like taking spironolactone, not safe in pregnancy. Taking licorice, not safe in pregnancy. So these are things that we want you typically to be doing in pregnancy because they can actually have really harmful effects on baby. So, lowering blood sugar, one of the other ways that you can really impact your testosterone levels is by how much you're eating in your body. Are you staying active in pregnancy? Now, the second thing that impacts the chance of your child having PCOS is your exposure to plastics in utero. So, I'm a baby of the '80s before we had all the research on plastics, how bad they are for you, and I am sure that my mother microwaved things in plastic containers. I'm sure that she was exposed to amounts of BPA and just modern processing of things, and that negatively impacted my expression of having PCOS. So, lowering your androgens while baby's in utero, while you're pregnant with baby, lowering, your exposure to plastic. So, one of the biggest things that you can do with this is not eat food that's been heated or food that was put into something plastic while it was still hot. So, a lot of times we think about this when we think about reheating food, like in the microwave, but do you have plastic Tupperware that you're putting hot soup in that then goes straight in the fridge? Because that hot soup is gonna be able to leach plastic from that plastic container too. So, we wanna make sure that the food entering and leaving the plastic container is not hot. Better yet, if you have the budget to move over everything to glass containers, that would be even more beneficial. The number 3 thing that you can do to help lower the risk of your daughter expressing genetics that may predispose her to PCOS is teaching her how to eat to manage blood sugar. This is something you can start as soon as they start having solids. When I eat applesauce, I also have a few bites of cheese. When I eat a handful of berries, I do it next to a few bites of cottage cheese. When we eat spaghetti, we eat it with meat sauce. So we're always, as we're building in food and messaging around food, it's that we want to have variety, fiber. We want adequate amounts of protein because helping her manage her blood sugar is going to be a skill that pays off her entire life long. Now, there is something that you cannot change that's not a modifiable risk factor, and that is your genetics. My sister has PCOS. I suspect my mother had PCOS. I am just at a higher risk than your average Jane who has developed PCOS. But if my mom had known that she could lower her androgens pre-pregnancy and that might affect my outcome, or if she had known the risks of plastics, then she could have lowered those risks. If she had known how much blood sugar balance was important, she might have taught me those things. I was the kid that ate waffles, quesadillas, spaghetti, anything white. There wasn't much protein and there wasn't much vegetables on my plate. I wish that I had been taught those things earlier in life, and it was something that as a grown-up, I had to learn how to do and to manage. So, there are things that you can do while you're pregnant. If you're watching this and you say, "I already have a daughter, what can I do for her?" Well, the number one thing you can do is teach her how to eat well and teach her healthy lifestyle things, moving her body. Know that genetics has some role in developing PCOS, but it's how our environment and our lifestyle interact with our genetics that dictates whether PCOS is expressed along with other things. You might be more likely to have type 2 diabetes, but you were taught very young how to manage your life with lots of exercise and lots of fiber and lots of protein, and that's just not something that you have to deal with in your lifetime. We can do that for our children in lots of ways by just teaching them very valuable lessons that will pay all life long, whether we're talking about PCOS or not. So, number one, safe ways that we can lower androgens in pregnancy. Number 2, lowering plastic exposure while you're pregnant. And then number 3, teaching your child really positive lifestyle, very manageable, sustainable things like balancing blood sugar on your plate. I hope this was helpful. Make sure that you follow me. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you're on Instagram, leave a comment. I always want to hear from you. What can I teach you that will help you in your PCOS journey? Have a great day.